Good morning and welcome to another program called the Veterans Forum. We're coming to you from the studios at the Bedford Community Television Station here in Bedford, New Hampshire. The show is set up so that working with the Library of Congress under their Veterans History Project, which started back in 2000, where they have been asking stations such as this and guys like me if they can and will invite and encourage any veteran, male or female, who fought in any of the wars from World War II, Vietnam, Korea, Desert Storm, you name it, if they can and will come here and share those experiences in a recorded interview. That will be filed down in the Library of Congress's database so that anybody from here on out, once this is in that database, will have access to that information. It's very helpful, we think, because it's history that's being reported by the guys and gals who made it. There's nothing else to it. Plain, simple, and unvarnished fact. One of the things we're trying to do, and it works, I've been told by some of the people who have been POWs, that it's perhaps the best therapeutic exercise they've gone through. You know, don't volunteer, don't do anything. But once they had the courage or the desire to come and tell their stories, every one of them, and I've had 3 or 4 right now so far, who looked at me after the mics and said, "Phew, I'm thanking you because I've carried that load for a long time. It's gotten rid of." Also, we'll find that it answers the question a lot of the kids, grandkids particularly, have prompted a lot of these guys and gals. You know, what did you do with the war? Well, you have to figure which war they're talking about and then give them the story as much as you can. It's perhaps one of the best legacies that we guys can give to our families and those coming after us. Now, as an example how important this is, I've been told that World War II, as an example, there were some 16 million guys and gals serving their jobs throughout the world. A couple of years ago, we got an update. At that time, they were estimating there may be 2.5 to 3 million left. The bad line on the bottom, they're dying at the rate of anywhere from 12 to 1,500 a day. Now, according to my son, I'm an endangered species, but it's a fact. We're fighting the calendar and the clock, and the more guys that can come forward before they can't talk and tell their story will help do that history. So again, if you will, consider it, and if you'd like to, please come and see us. Now today, for example, Andy, his name is Adrian, but I'll call him Andy to start with, is going to give you some information about what he did and why. Without any further ado, Andy, welcome aboard, and it's your story. If you would, give us your name, spell your last name for the record, dates of service, and your branch.
Oh, thank you. My name is Adrian Beaule, B-E-A-U-L-E. I enlisted in the Army National Guard in Manchester, October 31st, 1960, Halloween night.
Oh, you're outspoken, huh?
And I served with the Guards throughout till 1969. I was, what do you want me
Well, just dates of service and where you now live so that we can get started.
Oh, I live in Bedford, New Hampshire.
Okay, thank you. Now, we know who you are, and you're a captain, I believe.
Well,
Ultimately. We'll get to that later, which is what I'd like to do right now. Let's go back and find out what made you, like, where were you born? When were you born? How was your family life growing up before you went into the service? And then what prompted you to get in? Did you enlist? Were you drafted and so forth? And how did your life start to grow from there? In your own words, so that you tell it as it was.
Well, I was, like I said, I was born in Manchester. Grew up on the west side.
The west side of what?
The west side of Manchester.
Oh, I forget, this is a two-type of town. See, I'm a transplant. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. And I went to parochial schools, went to St. Marie on, for my first grade through 8th grade, and then I went to high school there, my first year and my second year, and then I transferred to Manchester West. And
you're on the east side then, or
no, it's
both,
on the
always
west
on the
side.
west? Excuse me, I
yeah.
think that. Go ahead.
And I wanted to learn printing. That's something that I had picked up along the way, and I really enjoyed that. And as a kid, I had my own little print shop at home, and
hand type and all that.
oh yeah, hand type, handset type, and you know the hand-fed press,
Oh yeah,
and the whole bit. Yeah. So I did that for. I graduated from West, and then didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, and I had a full-time job on a shipping and receiving in Brookshire Knitting Mills in Manchester, and I met someone there that I knew. He was in the Guards, and he ultimately talked me into joining the National Guard.
Can I stop you just a second?
Sure.
I'd like to fill in the big blank that you left. What was your family life like? Did you have any brothers and sisters? Any of your relatives in the service, for example?
Well, I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. One brother, I'm the oldest, and the second brother, Raymond, he was in the National Guard also, and he went to Vietnam also, same time as me.
Oh, same outfit?
Same outfit, same everything.
Wow.
So we both had to sign waivers.
Yeah, the Sullivan Act.
Yeah. I was an officer, so I felt that I had to go. He was single, and I was married, so he felt he had to go. Yeah. So we both signed.
So you both won.
But the battery had 5 sets of brothers.
Oh.
Through, you know, in our unit.
Okay, you're talking about one brother. What about the other?
Now the other brother worked for the National Guard as a full-time person. So he spent 34 years in the National Guard, and as an AST, they called it, administrative. And he came out a first sergeant. So he was, and now he's retired. My sister lives in Northwood with her husband. They didn't have anything to do with the military.
Okay.
And my little brother, he's in Florida, or Georgia, I'm sorry, but Georgia.
Southern boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now continue with going into the service. What prompted you to go in? And just
Well, I wanted to get my military service out of the way so I could find my full-time job in printing.
Good.
And so I went to my 6 months active duty, spent it at Fort Dix, New Jersey for basic training, then went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for AIT, where I learned fire direction. And this is in artillery. So I came back as a school-trained fire direction computer. And it was assigned to A Battery, third of the A Battery, first of the 172nd.
For the New Hampshire Guard?
New Hampshire National Guard.
You got to put all the little stuff because people have no idea what our alphabet doesn't make sense to people who haven't been there.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I've been back about 3 months, and then that battery got activated for the Berlin crisis. So we were shipped down to Fort Bragg for training. We spent most of our time in the field, and I was more or less placed in charge of the fire direction center because I was school trained, even though I wasn't the
you weren't the exec.
I wasn't. I was outranked anyway. I was only a PFC.
Yeah. And
the other 2 were Spec 4s. So we came back. Then I decided if I'm ever going to get activated again, I'm going to be an officer.
Amen.
So I went to officer candidate school. I applied for it. I was accepted. We spent our first summer camp in Concord at what they call Camp King, which is the Army National Guard at the State Military Reservation, and we spent it as a lower classman. And then we went to, we'd go once a month for Saturday and Sunday, or Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, and then we would drill.
Locally?
No, in the same place. It was easy to stop, because all you had to do is, you know, decide that I don't want to go through with this. And it was a tough going, because they didn't let up on you. For 48 hours, you were constantly under the watchful
being
eye of the
challenged,
TAC
yeah.
officers and the upperclassmen, and you know, so I went back and forth. We graduated from OCS in 1964. I was assigned to the 3rd Battalion, 197th Artillery in Manchester. Again, another battery, because they don't like to put you with the same unit that you came out of.
They don't want to spoil you or something?
Well, no, I guess the people knew you as a PFC, and now the sergeants didn't.
Do I salute
They
them?
didn't want to.
Hey,
They
buddy.
didn't want to accept the fact
Yeah.
that they had to salute you. So,
Yes,
so they
awkward.
put you with another unit. Well, my luck, that unit got activated to go to Vietnam.
Black cloud right up there.
Yeah. So I was the exec at that point, and then I can tell you the story about Vietnam, but
Please. Well, we were talking earlier about what it took you to get ready to go when you were in charge of all that good stuff.
Well,
Give the people a chance of what you had to do before anything else.
we spent from April till September at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, training for Vietnam and going through all kinds of what they call AITs, testing.
What is
by the
AIT, please?
Army
Infantry training or something?
infantry training,
Okay.
and they had different tests that the Army put you through, and evaluated you as a unit. And then when they felt they were comfortable with sending you to Vietnam and then combat, then
Stamp you
were
go
all
and
set.
go.
Yeah. So anyways, I had to pack up all the equipment and ship everything. So I had to have this huge board in my office, and I had all the different details of what was going to happen on what day and everything. I had to organize all that. And so we shipped all the equipment. The battery commander at that time went on an advance party, and I was in charge of the battery. So I had 1 week left over there, and I had to get the people on that plane, 120 people plus myself, make sure that everything, they were all on the plane.
Everybody was
Everybody's on the plane. Everybody was fine. And then we took a 24-hour trip. We landed in, the first place we landed was in Alaska.
Oh.
And then we went from
okay.
there to Tokyo, and then from
down.
Tokyo to Vietnam, and all three of them were 8-hour trips. Then we were in like a 727, but no windows.
Oh.
All the seats
Just
were
a cargo ship or something?
all the seats were in the plane were regular seats, but all facing backwards.
Okay. And 3
And-
planes carried your whole group, or did you have how many? 4 planes?
With us, with one plane for our unit.
Wow.
And then the
120 guys on one plane?
Yeah.
Must have been cozy.
Oh yeah, it was 24 hours in that plane, and then we had box lunches, and it was wonderful. It was a nice trip.
Nice
But then
trip.
we landed in Ben Hoa Air Force Base in Vietnam, and I can remember this as clear as day, that when we came off that airplane, it was the heat and the stench. Oh, it was awful, and that stayed with you for a long, long time. And it was like walking into an oven.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And then we were shipped around, and we finally ended up at a fire support base called Thunder 2.
Would that be up north from where you landed?
Well, this is about 30 miles north of Ben Hoa.
Okay.
Or
Now, when you landed, was it under fire at all? Was it a hot zone, or no big thing landing?
no, there was no
No ruckus.
no.
Okay.
It was kind of civilians, running around and all that. These little Vespa scooters and
Yeah.
So we stayed there for quite a while, and then
Were you given any missions while you were there? You just didn't unpack?
We were supporting the infantry out,
Okay.
you know, and we fired, you know, several missions a day. It wasn't really an exciting part of, you know,
But it had to be done.
it had to be done. So anyways, and then I was shipped back to battalion, and then they made me a liaison officer, and which was the rank of a captain, but I was still only a first lieutenant. And I was assigned to different places.
Good. Tell us.
I spent a lot of time as an air observer, and we used to fly missions along the Cambodian border for targets of this side of it, on the targets of opportunity. I'd always be going up with a 22-year-old warrant officer, a hotshot, you know, and they always wanted you to learn how to fly the airplane in case something happened to them. Mm-hmm. So I learned how to fly.
A plane, a fixed wing, or a helicopter,
both,
or both?
Both.
Oh, you got double wings then, huh?
Oh, yeah, I could, but I never actually took off or landed the plane. So, but I did fly it up in the air.
Okay.
It was quite quite exciting.
Well, what was your duties while you were up there? That's to give people an idea what you had to do, what you're looking for.
There was, you know, we found one time Viet Cong out in the open, and so the guy was telling me about it, the pilot, and so I had my M16 and I'm firing out the window and throwing grenades out.
Lighting the load?
Yeah, it was.
Did he come down and dust them?
Oh yeah, and it was exciting until we got back to the airport and then found out there were a few holes in the plane.
They didn't worry at the time.
No. See, the first 3 months that you're there, you're worried to death. The next 7 or 8 months, you're casual.
More than the same, yeah.
Yeah, you're used to it. And then the last 2 months, you really get scared again because I made it this far.
Calendar.
I made it this far. Am I going to come home?
The X's.
You know?
Yeah.
So anyways, you feel like you're pushing your luck at that point. But I spent over 300 hours flying with all different, you know, aircrafts and different missions. I was assigned to the Navy.
Oh, they
Department of Navy. They sent a 2-star general sent me down there.
Oh, you and he buddies?
No.
I just thought I'd ask. You never know.
No, I was just told to report to this 2-star general, and he says, "Well, you're going to go down to the Navy and teach them how to adjust artillery, and from the patrol boats."
Oh, the A boats.
So
That's interesting.
Yeah, I went down there and spent 6 weeks with the Navy. We were going up and down the rivers, mostly at night, and I'd teach them how to adjust artillery from the boat, where to get the artillery, all the SOIs and SSIs, which are the necessary documentation to get where, you know, what units are where.
Okay, where you shouldn't shoot as opposed to what's open game.
Right, but standard operating instructions and so, you know, I tried to teach the people on the boat.
Were they intelligent? Could they learn it?
Oh,
Were they eager to learn it?
Yeah. Because they only had so much firepower on the boat, so it was nice to have the artillery.
Now this is what, down the Mekong?
Right up the Mekong Delta.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I spent 6 weeks there, and I really enjoyed the Navy. Other than you know, working at night and trying to sleep during the day at 110 degrees.
You can't.
You can't.
It's wet. No matter what you do, it's
wake
wet.
Up all soaked, you know. So that was the Navy. Then I was assigned to the first Infantry Division, which was Colonel Patton's division. No.
Oh, George Patton's
grandson.
Grandson.
I guess. And he was he's a
he
tough,
gung-ho?
Oh yeah, he was gung-ho.
Pearl Vandals?
He tried to live up to the reputation of his grandfather, but he couldn't, you know, because he didn't have the war. Right. So anyways, I would go up in the command chopper and my job was to prepare the area with artillery bombardments of targets that where the enemy could have
What was your
ambushed.
D2 like? Did they give you some idea what areas to look into? That the locals have been telling you, hey, the Kong's coming down here, the
Well,
RBN's coming here.
I don't know. We never got into that part of it, but I'd have to look at an area and then figure out where it would be a good place for an ambush.
Oh,
and
okay.
so I'd prep these areas. I'd let the commander know that I had 2 minutes of artillery left, and he'd bring in the jets. They'd napalm the place, and then they'd bring in 5 helicopters, and the people would get off, and then bring in another wave, and that was my job.
Well,
So I spent quite a few times. I remember the first time I had gone up, and I had my RTO, my radio telephone operator, tell me, we have 4 minutes of firing left. But the commander wanted to know when there was 2 minutes left. Then he said 3 minutes. And then I heard nothing.
oh,
And then finally he says 1 minute. And then I told the commander 1 minute. And he looked at me. And then the next
where's
time
the
he
other
told
minute?
when we got on the ground, he says, okay, Lieutenant, next time you better have your Sierra together.
Okay.
So the next time I could have flown the plane. I mean, I was really well informed.
And ambitious.
Yes.
PYA.
Yeah, cover your butt. So then I spent some time with the Arvins, the 1st Cav,
The Arvins are,
Army of Vietnam.
okay, again, initials.
I know. Everything is initials in the Army. So
But their people want to know, too.
yeah. So that brings us up to Captain Labonte, which was he was a captain from our unit. He and I would be going to school every Monday night at the Armory to qualify for the next rank.
Okay.
And we'd go out and have coffee at Duncan. And so I got to know him pretty well. And he was assigned as a liaison officer to this unit. And I was sent to another place. And I got a call one night, and it said, well, get ready, you're going to be picked up in the morning by chopper, 0700 hours. So I went over, I was ready, I got on the chopper, and then I asked the pilot, I said, where are we going?
What's up? Yeah.
He says, well, you're going to this fire support base. And I says, well, I thought Captain Labonte was there. He says, oh, you got killed last night.
Oh, that's your buddy.
My buddy. So I had to go and do his job, work off his map. I had to erase everything on the map and put it into my own handwriting. Slept in his bunk. I mean, it was weird.
That's ghosty.
Oh yeah. And then we were with Special Forces. They had Cambodian mercenaries, and we had a composite battery of 3 105 howitzers and 3 155 howitzers. And we also had access to 2 other batteries. One time, one of the Special Forces captains was inserted in an area, and they had to be ejected because they were surrounded by Viet Cong. And he came over to my map, and he says, right here.
Hit him.
This is where it is. So with my training, I decided I was going to do a time-on-target mission. And that's when you get 18 guns firing at one
All at one
place,
point.
and they all get there at one time.
Ooh, blanket, the airport's blanket bombing.
So I figured out the whole mission. I had what they called a spooky in the air. He called me up within a few minutes of the time that I was supposed to be firing. And I gave him the coordinates in the clear, and I told him we're going to have a time-on-target mission to observe. And so we had our our countdown. We fired all our rounds, and we had continuous firing.
But for an hour, 2 hours, a whole day?
It was about 30 minutes of
Wow.
just continuous firing. And
Was someone on high kit and watching the impact?
with the guy, the spooky up there. The guy
Okay, that's what I was one fun. Yeah.
he was going crazy. He says, "Oh my God, you should be up here." He says, "You're getting all kinds of secondaries," which means I was hitting ammunition.
Oh, okay,
and
other than the area you're looking for.
Yeah,
Good.
other than just Viet Cong. I mean, I was hitting. I hit
So you
an
got some big
ammunition
brownie
dump.
points.
Yeah. So I felt good about that. And then they reinserted the next day, and then they didn't find any bodies because they always carry them off.
Out, yeah.
And but they found all kinds of stuff, and they brought me back a pit helmet and a few other things, and I sent them home, and my wife threw them away.
Yes, dirty things.
I says, "Where's my pit helmet?" He says, "Oh, got rid of that."
Yeah.
Oh, anyways, that was my TOT, my moment of glory, and I would say. Right around then, I was transferred up to Chu Lai, which is 50 miles south of Da Nang, which is, almost at the demilitarized zone.
Yeah.
And I was assigned as an FDO in an artillery battery. And what they wanted to do was infuse the battery so that when replace the people and send them to different units, so that when when the battalion left country, the
Full
batteries were
complement.
still there,
Yeah.
and they'd be under different personnel. So it was.
Well, when you say infuse, in my terminology, that would be taking guys from a repo depot or another outfit to fill in the spots where people
Correct.
get knocked. Okay.
Yeah.
Keeping the complement up
from the
there.
regular army, they bring in people.
Okay.
They'd send us to a regular army units, and that's. I was one of the few people that got sent, way up there in July, and it was almost like the last 5 months of service in Vietnam, and again we were placed on a hill one time with 3 guns, 3 155 howitzers, and a company of infantry around us. And my
Just
mission,
one? Just one company around?
just one company,
It's
about,
a kind of skinny perimeter.
yeah.
Okay,
And
I'm sorry.
that's okay. And the other 4 companies were out there in the field, and we would support them with artillery. We didn't have a fire direction. We get all our commands from Chu Lai, and they were doing all the mapping and everything
All
else.
plotting, yeah.
Yeah. And that's when we used to fire 450 rounds a day for with 3 guns. 450 rounds a day with 3 guns. Now just think about this.
That's a lot of lead.
When we went to summer camp with the National Guard, we'd fire 600 rounds with 18 guns in a 2-week period.
Wow.
So we
The
were
barrels
firing.
would melted, weren't they?
We were firing a lot.
Yeah.
We were firing a lot, day
Now,
and
is it-
night.
Was it anti-personnel or just all kind of what kind of armament? do you-
Mostly targets of opportunity,
Okay.
harassment at night, harassment and interdiction fires. We're suspected, Viet Cong. Mostly, but in support of that. They were out in the field and they'd hear a noise and they'd call in the fire mission. And,
You had to.
and that type
You
of
had to.
thing.
Anything that rustled, you don't know
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Now, how about the other side of the coin, though? Was anybody shooting back at you?
Quite a few times.
That's what I wanted to find out. I mean, you weren't up there just...
Well,
spotting.
the mission with replacing Captain Labonte, the first night, nothing. The second night, I'm laying down on the sandbags and I'm watching this beautiful, beautiful sunset. And all of a sudden I see, and
Big mosquitoes.
I had no idea what it was, and then somebody said, "Incoming!" And so we ran in and,
Roll over and duck.
oh boy, so that was my introduction to fire at that point. And if I could have dug down any deeper, I was trying to do it, but luckily they take 2 bamboo sticks and put it like this and put a rocket on it. And
And that was it.
that was their
Yeah.
sophistication.
Elevation, just pull it in or push it out.
Yeah. So they bracketed us once,
Oh, yeah.
and then by that point, we figured the next day we were going to get hit, and when I was on the hill, and then we left. We were pulled out.
Oh, good.
So I never was overrun or or had
Okay.
small arms. We've had
Any
people in the
infiltration
wire.
that caused you grief or anything
Yeah,
like
we
that?
had some infiltration, but
It was taken care of.
yeah, the people were there and
Oh, yeah.
did their job and that type of thing. But there's only 4% of the people that were killed in Vietnam were artillerymen.
Is that good or bad? I
That's
have no
good.
way-
That's where the place to be is the artillery.
Oh, okay. Now, how about the creepy crawlers? Do you have any trouble with the local animals like snakes and spiders and scorpions?
Well, we've had a few incidents
Yeah,
with snakes and
Tell
spiders.
the people
and
about that. This wasn't a day at the
Yeah.
beach.
There was a place one time where I was in a fortification, and these people had a row of sandbags on top of their bunker, and it was about this far, of an opening, this much of an opening.
It's the sighting port.
And they had their 2 bunks in there, and they were in there, and then some big snake came over and fell in between the 2 of them. You should have seen those guys get out of there. We had Cambodian mercenaries who brought in a python one time.
Yeah, but they eat
And-
them.
Well, they were playing with it. Big sucker.
How about the poison snakes?
They had what they call a 3-step viper and
Yeah,
a
2 or
5-step
3-step
viper.
viper,
Yeah.
Tell the people what that means.
Well, you only
I've
had
it
3
before.
steps after you.
Once they get hit,
Yeah.
bing, 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 you fall, you're dead.
You're dead,
Or thereabouts.
Yeah. So I never really. Oh, I got bit by a scorpion one time.
No? Did it
we were-
die?
We we were taking apart sandbags, and being a small unit that I had, lieutenant would be in there, doing the same work. So we're taking apart the sandbag, and the scorpion was right in between the sandbags and stung me. Oh, luckily I was with those special forces. They had a doctor there. He took care of me.
Real quick.
Yeah, and then I still had to talk about sting and burn. Oh my God, that was awful.
Did it radiate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was intense, but I still had to fly the mission.
Oh, yeah.
to
You move.
prep the
you're-
area that we were moving the whole
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing. So
Now we're there doing Tet. Oh,
yes, yeah.
Tell us about that.
68, 69 was Tet.
Yeah.
I really don't have much to.
Okay, I
to-
just want to make sure
about
we
Tet,
we
but,
cover what we have.
Well,
so
we
that-
did.
Okay.
We did do a lot of. I guess that's when most of the troops were there. 500,000 troops was during the time that we were there.
Well covered.
Yeah.
Now we have a couple of. This may be a good place to try and work this a little. We have some photographs that they've fed into another computer, and I'm supposed to push a button, bring it on the screen, and Andy's going to tell you about it, folks. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go. Push one. Come on. There we go.
Okay, now this is one of the fire support bases that I was talking to you about. You can see the sandbag fortifications, and you can also see the Chinook helicopter. It had a net underneath that they would use to carry all your ammo, and they'd bring in. That's how we got resupplied every day. We'd get the Chinooks.
And look at the second one on the bottom there, that dust storm, how that impacted a lot.
Oh
of
yeah,
stuff.
well, trying to unhook the
Chinook.
Chinook, was intense too, because you'd get peppered with all kinds of
And he
stuff.
couldn't rub it off because you're sweating. And
Yeah,
wasn't exactly good.
no.
Okay. Now, question. There's a little building there, or a tripod or something with some cans on. What was that? Some kind of an gasoline station or a built-in shower? Gravity feed?
Yeah, I think that was a shower.
Here it is, right here, isn't it? Yeah, this guy right here.
Oh yeah, that's where you would they'd fill it up with water, and you'd take a shower because the water would be cold in the morning, and then the sun beating down on it, you'd have a nice hot shower.
Solar heating,
Yeah.
once removed.
Yeah, that was used for a shower.
Yeah.
And then there's this one here.
Well, how about the food there? When you're different places, did you have your own galley or cook go with you, or did you take whatever was at hand, or
all
LREs?
gourmet food served.
Oh, yeah?
Wrapped
in plastic with a
It
spoon.
was excellent. Yeah,
I don't believe that. Yeah.
We had sea rations,
Oh?
and then if we were lucky, we had LRP rations, which are long-range patrol rations, and they came in a foil bag that was sealed, pressure sealed, and what you'd do is you'd open that, pour hot water in it, it would reconstitute the food inside, and those were fairly good.
Yeah.
I do remember Christmas, we had a hot meal out in the field.
Really?
That's when I was with the 1st Infantry Division.
Now, what was it? The full turkey bit or ham, egg
Turkey,
steaks?
turkey, mashed potatoes.
Real potatoes or powdered stuff?
Real stuff, real stuff.
Wow.
It was all brought out to us, and
Merry Christmas.
yeah, it was nice. It was excellent, and we even had eggnog.
Oh,
Now, talk about old home. Thinking of old home is with that cold eggnog.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
When I was in one of these places, we'd have the rations. I'd get up in the morning, and I had taken a beer can and wrapped it with a metal wire and made a handle. Then I had another little where I'd take C4 explosives. I'd cut off a chunk, put it in there, fill my can up with water, and then light that.
Your old Sterno, huh?
Hey, talk about. Then I'd have
Don't
my
stand too
instant
close, though.
instant coffee,
Yeah?
instant sugar, instant cream.
All in dehydrated water.
Yeah, in that water, and then I'd have a nice cup of coffee. I had a little tiny cigar.
Oh,
I
and you were
thought
paid to this at the same time.
I thought I was in heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
The hell you say.
That was breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that many a day spent like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Now we get some more shots. See if I can push another button here and see what we got. Okay, here's the firing.
and there's a 155 howitzer with the crew firing.
What's their range, for effective range?
12 miles.
12 miles.
12 miles.
You can crawl in anywhere into them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they'd bracket within 400 meters. And that's
Okay.
what you do. Your first round would either be short or over the target, in which case
Then
you would say
Compensate.
drop 400.
Yeah.
And then they drop, if your round was this side of the target now, you would say add 200. And then either add 100
Then
or
fire
drop
for
100.
effect.
And then you drop 50, fire for effect. And that's when you see we do all the adjustments with one gun, and then we take all 6 guns and fire.
All the same.
Yeah.
Now on the bottom we have, looks like something,
That was my CP. And that's where
the quiet little home in the jungle.
my command post, and that's where I had my communication with battalion. I had my communication with the guns, and I'd have the maps, and I'd have
And
the
how about the guy
the
top
fire
side?
missions. Yep.
Always close coordination all the
Yeah,
time.
I had the observer. You could either call in the mission, or
Mhm.
I'd have the people on the ground call in fire missions, and then we'd plot it on the map. I'd turn it into gun data, put the gun data on the guns, and then fire.
Good.
And again, that's all stuff that you would learn at Fort Sill and
Okay.
So,
But you were well qualified and you knew what to do. That's the
well, I knew
important
that
thing.
stuff. yes.
Amen.
I
Now,
knew it very well.
let's kind of mush ahead a little bit. Ultimately, when was your last real assignment prior to being told you were going to be coming home? The last 2 or 3 X's on the calendar.
Well,
How'd you feel?
I was sent back to Chulai, and I had about 2 days there before, processing out of country, and we got hit that night.
Oh, good for you. You in the black cloud again.
So I said, "Oh God, here we are. Am I gonna get
They're going to get you.
home or?" So, anyways, I'm ready to go, and then they said that I had to be held back because somebody from Washington wanted to get a hold of me, and they were going to get a hold of me over there. So hold back. So I waited one day, and then they finally decided, well, you're going to go to Fort Lewis, Washington, and then get a hold of this major in Washington. So I got on the plane, and when we were 10,000 feet up in the air, you should have heard that yell.
Yay, boy. Oh, yeah.
Because they knew they couldn't get you at that point,
Plus, it was heading in the right direction.
And that's right. You were going home. And so I flew into Fort Lewis, Washington at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were told to go down to the mess hall, go over there, steak and eggs, donuts, milk.
Fresh milk. Sounds silly, but boy, that tasted good.
Fresh milk.
Oh, yeah. From real milk. You don't have to put powder in the water and the water in the powder.
That was terrific.
Okay.
So that day, that morning, I went to see them, and they had me call up this major in Washington, and he said, "How long have you been out of uniform?" And I said, what are you talking about? And he says, "Well, you've been a captain for 10 months.
They didn't find you, or they didn't want to look for you?
No, so they gave me 10 months back pay.
Wow.
And that colonel over there pinned my bars on me. And so I came home a captain.
Well, good for you.
But I spent most of it as a lieutenant. So.
Okay. Now, how was your welcoming when you got home? And this is the dirty part.
Well, you talk about getting spit on and all that in the airports, and I never encountered that. I came home in uniform. I went from Fort Lewis, from Washington to Chicago, walked through O'Hare. I had no problems. No problems. Good. I had this lieutenant walk by me and salute me, and I had no idea what he was doing.
You forgot you had two.
Yeah. And I'm supposed to give him a buck,
Oh, yeah.
The first man that salutes you,
yeah.
and I...
Yeah, got change for 5.
No, dummy, by the time I thought of it, the guy was gone. So anyways, there was so then I went from there to Boston, and then Boston I hooked up with another guy that was coming home, and his family was coming to Boston to take him home. So they brought me home.
Oh.
They drove me he lived in Nashua, and they drove me to Manchester.
Went all the way north for that extra mile,
yeah.
Huh? Good.
Yeah, and I got out of that
that's the best part.
That
Talk
car,
about the little kids.
And then I went up to the door.
Take it slow, buddy.
That was nice.
There's a little gal waiting for you. Huh?
Yeah.
And a little boy.
Colleen.
Yeah.
It's 3 months, 3.5 years old, and just welcome home, Daddy.
Yeah.
And then the little boy that I had never seen, 8 months old. He had his own paper route and everything.
Oh, working already can support you. There's nothing like treating them young, though, huh?
No, I'm just kidding. But
now, did you join any outfits when you come back, like the Legion, VFW, AMVETS?
I joined the VFW.
Okay, you active in it at all?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the adjutant, which is like the stenographer.
Yeah, still second in command, though. How come?
Well,
yeah,
not really, because this is
really.
an appointed position. So.
Oh. Now, did you take any advantage of GI Bill or anything like that as far as getting set and getting back into the printing business or anything like that?
Yes, I, as far as medical, I went down to the VA, and I'm telling you that I have never had a bad experience with the VA.
Amen.
The VA is good people, professional people. They do a good job. They treat you like real people,
Yeah.
you know.
And they mean it.
Yeah, they do.
You can sense it.
Yeah. And as far as the GI Bill, I really never took advantage of it other than to buy a house. I bought my first house in Manchester with the GI Bill.
3.5 mortgage or something like that.
I forgot.
That's a wonderful number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now that you're home and back, what did you do to get to where you are today as far as your life is concerned?
Well, I went into printing, got my job back
Okay.
at Louis Cummings Company in Manchester. They were publishers of magazines, and worked with them. Went to work for the Union Leader.
At the local paper.
Yeah,
Okay.
Manchester Union Leader. Worked for them for about a year and a half, and then decided to go into carpentry.
Oh.
And so
Building,
learned-
carpentry repair, remodeling, or what?
yeah, I learned how to build a house from the ground up. Built 14 houses for this
Oh,
contractor, and then built my own house in Bedford.
no. Now, you a contractor as such, or just a real good journeyman? And do you take on jobs like that now?
I used to,
Oh.
but I'm too old for that.
Oh, you're never too
Retired
old.
now. So.
Let the kids do it.
That's right. So anyways, we had our own printing business for, I did that for a number of years, about 12 years, and then we decided to go back into printing, and so I started Craftsman Press, which is geared more towards municipalities, and that's where I found my niche. And I promoted the business, I started it, I promoted it, I set up all the equipment, and ran it for 23 years. And we were quite successful
Good for you.
till 2011. No,
9/11.
9/11.
That's a little cheaper. It's only a number.
Well, 9/11 anyways. And then we had this steady growth, and then all of a sudden it started going down. Just fewer and fewer, but it was still decent, where you can make a decent living.
Yeah.
And then my son took it over. He found out that I wanted to sell the business.
Oh, he and it now, keeping it going?
Yeah, and he's been doing it for the last
Coming up?
4.5 years. He's doing excellent.
Good.
And then in a bad economy.
Oh, yeah.
The kid is innovative. My little 8-month-old.
Yeah? Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
He's 40.
But where did the time
44
go
years
from this
old.
little guy to, yes, sir?
Yeah, I know.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
How many times have they asked you the question we say out there, hey, Grandpa, what did you do in the war? Have you ever talked to them? Or can we in any way put some of this program in their memory, if that's a good way to put it, or to them from your friends?
Well, we had, I had a good friend that I graduated with OCS, and last week I got word that he passed away in Florida, and from pneumonia, and it really, I still haven't gotten over the shock.
You never
I mean,
will.
this was my friend from Manchester, the two of us that were marching together.
Your a-hole buddy,
Yeah,
technical term.
yeah, he was my best friend.
Yeah.
Well, my best friend is my wife, but he was my second best friend.
Boy, you covered that one quick. You can go back in the house tonight. Oh.
No, really, Peggy is my best friend.
How was, not being nosy, but how was your life now that you're retired and have these things to plaque and time to be a good husband and a buddy
Well,
again?
we've been married 49 years.
Oh, you're going to make it permanent?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm going to keep her.
Okay.
Yeah, and very, very happy. Our children, super. The way they're respectful. They show respect for others.
Wow.
They're intelligent. They're very responsible. I have nothing but high praises for my kids, I'll tell you.
I can just watching your eyes, you light up.
Yeah, Colleen.
This is straight scoop. Yeah.
And my grandchildren. I have a granddaughter that's 16 and a grandson that's 12.
Wow.
And they're both smart.
Are they local so that you get to
Yes,
see them?
they're in the next town over in Weir,
Oh,
a couple towns over.
so they're in close proximity, as the book says. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we see him all the time, and I'm still working with Michael. I mean, he sent me
You're
out.
the snooper, the scoop in the sky, if you will. Is that what you call it? Your
No.
high man, the snooper. Oh,
No, this is Michael's my son,
Oh, okay.
and he's got the printing business, and I'm still working with him because he said he had a friend that had a business going, selling placemats and for restaurants, and what you do is you sell the ads for the restaurant, and you know, for the placemat,
Mhm.
and that pays for the whole thing. So it's a good little business.
So they'll laminate it. And
No, they're just regular,
Just
the
reg-
paper placemats.
okay,
You've probably seen them.
print them right out.
Well, Michael's printing them, and I go out and I sell them.
You're a hustler, huh?
Yeah, so I have to do that. But it's you know, I'm his second biggest customer, so
Oh.
so that keeps him going.
He's got a vested interest anyway.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That's great.
So we still have a little part-time job,
Mhm.
but I mean it's not very difficult.
Now,
I do
Uh,
play golf, and I do play.
oh, you do?
Yes,
Where? Manchester or?
all over.
All over.
All over. We've been playing golf now for about 10 years. My wife and I both.
Oh,
we both
that must be fun.
Yeah.
Because my wife, I'm not digressing, it's your show, but the first couple of times I brought my wife out with the guys, and she just rode in the cart. And, you know, casual golf, a 6-inch, would give it to you.
Yeah.
And she's writing the score down. She said, that's a 5. I said, no, it's a 4. The ball did not go in the cup. Yes, ma'am. You know, and you don't argue with the boss, but
That's right,
that's
yeah.
kind of fun. Now, I'd like to, if we can, wrap this up in a silly question, but I think how you answer it is meaningful. Has all this experience that you had in the service been positive or negative, and as far as how it's helped you get through life?
Well, it's a little of both. I mean, I've had a lot of post-traumatic stress. When I came back, I had a hard time to adjust to civilian life. A lot of demons drove me to alcohol, and finally reached a point where I had enough alcohol and
Okay.
and just gave it up. And it's been 28 years since I've had a drink, and it's been 25 years since I've smoked. So
It's a pure, you squeak now. But I shouldn't joke about it, but it's great.
yeah. So,
Okay.
so
Now,
that's like I said, it's
There's a
been
give
good
and
and
a
bad,
take.
but it also gave me the same determination that I had in the service to do, to be on my own, to
do the best you could.
get my own business going, to
Mhm.
the leadership that I needed to do that, and I found it within me to be able to do that. So
It's a job sometimes to say no.
yes,
It's a hell of a
Yes.
job.
yeah.
Now, as a final shot, if you will, for the young kids or youngsters out there who may be on the cusp, would you suggest that they look into joining any of the service branches as far as schooling, training?
Well, today the potential for benefits after you join the military is tremendous. I mean, you can get you go to college. You've got the VA to take care of you after. I don't like the idea of Afghanistan and the mines, the
IEDs?
IEDs. I mean that troubles me a lot, and a lot of it is that today. I mean, they come back with one arm, one leg. I worried a lot about that when I
Oh.
was in Vietnam. I don't want to be coming back a cripple, but these people have a lot more courage than I have, and live with a lot.
Yeah. It's
lot.
amazing what they can do.
Oh, my hat's off to them.
I know, and I'm butting in, I shouldn't, but one of the biggest thrills I had I've been on National Ski Patrol for about 40 years, and we were out in Colorado, and they have a veterans ski program going on. And I went up the chair with a guy who was a double amputee.
Wow.
He had two strips in front of him, and he looked like a little bit of a boat.
Yeah.
And I says, how are things going? He says, man, this is cool. He flipped off somehow and did a quick turn. He was down before I got myself lined up, and I thought, I wasn't a hot skier, but I figured I could handle it. And I said, I wouldn't go down there on foot, for Christ's sake. And he's going,
There you
so,
go.
as you say, if there's a will, there is a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Last question. Is there some way that through this program, like you and others, I can say, somehow, get the guys from NAM to accept the fact that we're here and would like to help share them stories if they will, and welcome them home. They had up to do a couple of weeks ago, as you know.
Yeah.
But this is my focus right now. One at a time if I can. That's what I'd like to do. So if you can help me, please do.
Well, the first thing
Without pushing.
The first thing you need to do is get a hold of the VA and see what you're entitled to. And they'll assign you counselors, they'll assign you anything that you need, whether it's physical, mental, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are there to help you.
Good.
And I swear that's your best source of help, I think.
Amen. Well deserved, too.
Yeah, I think so. They earned it.
Oh, yeah.
We all earned it, and we're
long
happy
overdue.
to see that the country now,
Yeah.
you know, with the flag waving and everything else, that we're finally being recognized, and you know, more money is being appropriated for the VA, and you know, and that type of thing. Along the way, I had 2 stints in my heart, which gave me a coronary disease, and they attribute it to Agent Orange.
Oh.
And
So you get a
so I'm getting
pension.
compensation for that, and then I'm getting 10% for my hearing, because
Huh?
when you fire the weapons, you
Yeah,
know,
bing, bing,
you
bing.
hold your hand up, and
That's
it's
do
hard
it.
to bring your arm down and then plug
Yeah.
your ears up.
You close your legs.
Yeah. So anyways, that's, you know.
3 words, my friend. Thank you for your service. Welcome home.
Well, thank
And-
you, sir.
Amen. That's a wrap, folks. Again, it's another show of some guy who did his job. The offer's still out there. Any guy and gal, if you can and will, come on and talk with us. We're here to help. Bob Stevens saying thank you, stay well, and keep in touch.